Good morning. Welcome to our Thursday Hatha Flow. I'm Jen. So I'm really looking forward to practicing with you. Thank you so much for joining in. Today is a full moon, so I'm going to do a little bit of a different full moon type practice. A lot of the time, there's a lot bubbling up, there's a lot bursting out at this time, and the theme is to really nourish. So this goes with my theme of the week that we were working on earlier this week, that is this relationship with self. So today we're asking, um, where is it time to put yourself first? um, I know for a lot of us, I know for me especially, this word selfish kind of blankets that idea, and there's something inside that catches and says, no, you can't put yourself first. But today is the day to ask this question: where can we put ourselves first? Because this relationship that we have with ourselves, this is one of the most important ones. So today we're going to be starting on our backs again. So you can make your way to your mat, have any props you need nearby, blocks or cans or books or toilet paper rolls. For straps, you can have a tie, a belt, a tea towel. For cushions, you can use folded blankets or towels or meditation cushions or even couch cushions. So anything you need nearby. And I will make my way to the mat as well. So as you lay down, as usual, we settle into the room. We settle into our environment, drawing closer and closer into ourselves. We're on the mat. We're in our body. We feel our breath. A reminder to always practice within your range of motion, so pain-free. If you feel any burning or shooting or even the numbness and tingling, it means that compression is happening, that pain is happening somewhere. So back off a little, take the previous pose or something comfortable. If you're feeling lightheaded or dizzy, same thing. Take something comfortable, ground yourself. It always helps to have 3 points at least on the floor. So if you can do that, that's most grounding, especially if you can ground your forehead somehow on the floor or the wall or onto your knees. And if you have any medical conditions or injuries that you are unsure of, please halt and talk to a professional before you start doing the practice, especially since I can't be there to support you in person right now. So as we lay here, we slowly start to find a comfortable position. In yoga philosophy, we have several layers of our body. So we have this outer physical layer. This is the one that I find it's a good way to calm the noise from either the other layers, from the outside world, the tangible form. It's also called the food body in yoga philosophy. It's the one that the food is fueling, that the food is building, right? So as you lay here, feel that physical body, the physical sensations. We are here in this body so that we can feel the air on the skin. We can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell. Our heart is beating, our lungs are breathing, the blood is flowing, all the cells are working. We notice that there are other things going on beyond the physical. And none are more important, less important. They're all there for a reason. But we can just see them as layers of self again. So the emotional body, fairly primitive still. You can note the things that you're feeling. Not that they're separate from who you are, but they are another layer. One that we could actually also move past and go deeper in. So we acknowledge, we listen, we note those feelings. And we know that they still aren't us, who we are at the center. And then there's the mental body, the thinking body. This one distinguishes us from all the other species. And we notice that. We notice all those thoughts, our cognition, the analysis, the memories, the stories, the assumptions, the dreams. Dreams not as in the subconscious ones, but because those could go through several levels. And again, recognizing them, seeing where they come from, honoring them, but still knowing that it's just another layer. These things can be transient, they can change. We have neuroplasticity. Because there's something even deeper than that. Beyond our body, our feelings, our thoughts. There's something deeper in there, a light that burns, one that's been quite constant from the beginning, one that holds wisdom and essence, that which is you. When we start to view the other layers, is simply other parts. Perhaps it's easier to tune into that one that's deep, deep within the core. The spirit, soul. And are there more? Yes. In yoga philosophy, there's then that one that connects us to everything, at every time, everywhere. A part that makes us all interconnected, something bigger, beyond all those bounds. Something that's not only been constant within you, but constant everywhere. So whatever belief you have there, we recognize something else that connects us. Today, let's let our practice move us through, move the body so that emotions and thoughts pass by, so that we can get to know the soul, the spirit a little better, to nourish that, and then so that we can show up in this great mesh of interconnectedness and feel our purpose. Oh, big goals today. Take 3 big deep breaths. Inhale, inhale completely. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale and release. Last one. And let it go. Bend the knees. Bring the feet mat width apart and just windshield wiper those knees side to side. Though we'll still be flowing today, I encourage you to really think of this practice as nourishing, spending time with all of our selves. Let's bring the knees up in towards the chest, take them into the hands, and just rock side to side. And then you can experiment. You can start to bring them closer in. Feel how that moves the points of contact against the earth. Getting massages in different areas. Then maybe you make circles in one direction and then the other direction. And now let's hug those knees in. Keep the right knee in. Stretch the left leg out along your mat. It may just hover there. It may come all the way down. Everybody bring your right knee away from you a little bit so that the hips feel equal on the ground and both sides of the waist feel long. And then start to draw that right knee in a little more. Press it away. And bring it back in. And see what you can release here. The full moon is also a time to not only nourish those seeds and see what's bursting forth, but to let go of the things that you're seeing, that the light of the moon is shining a bright light on, and you're seeing that don't serve you anymore. Bring that knee away and draw it over to the left shoulder a little bit, but try not to let that right hip come off the earth so much. And then back to center and over to the right shoulder, just slightly. It doesn't have to come all the way out to the side. Just to feel all 360 degrees of that hip joint getting awakened, releasing any tension. And now bring it back to center. Take that knee into the left hand and just very slowly start to bring it over towards the left. But if there's a point along the way that feels really good, hold it there. Also, adding a little bit, try to reach that right hip away from the shoulder, still lengthening through the right side of the waist. Again, this isn't so much a spinal twist as it is a twist for the hips, the pelvis. And then back to center, hug both knees in. And then keep that left leg in, stretch the right leg out along the mat. Draw that left knee away from you, let both sides of the hips ground, let both sides of the waist lengthen, and then start to bring that left knee in. Press it away and bring it in. Just finding some softness, being kind. And now we take that knee slightly over to the right. As if there's like a string between the right shoulder and the left kneecap. And we're just kind of cinching it up a little bit, making it a little shorter. Checking out what that feels like. And then we bring it away and swing it out to the left slightly. Getting a few more of those adductors on the inside edge of the thigh. The name of the game here, we're not really trying to stretch, lengthen. We're really just starting to melt away some of the tension, wake up that joint. Come back to center, take it into the right hand, lengthen that left waist, and slowly start to bring it over to the right. But at any point in time, when you're feeling something that needs some attention, we pause there. Draw that knee away and down. And then back up to center. Nice work. Take both knees in both hands again. This time we're going to draw circles in the opposite directions. So you're making like an 8 or a 2-balled snowman on the ceiling, and then the other direction. You're swimming like a frog. And then come back to center. This time keeping the knees in. We're going to bring the arms out to the side in cactus or a T and start to windshield wiper without touching the earth, over to the right, back to center, and over to the left. So we're still massaging out that back, but now we're starting to activate the core. Beautiful. Let the inhales bring the knees to the side. Let the exhales draw them back up to center. And even a slight little drawing in of the lower abdomen as they come to center. Beautiful. Now this time all the way to the right, let the knees touch the floor. Now you come into your full twist. You can hold down that left leg. You can look over the right shoulder. And then back up to center. Bring the knees all the way over to the left. Maybe holding down that right leg, looking over the right shoulder. And back up to center. Hug the knees in. And slowly start to rock up and down your spine. If that doesn't serve you, you can roll over onto one side and press yourself up. And then all the way up to seated. Now we're going to be in seated. So if you need anything to sit on, you can go grab it now and come to a comfortable cross-legged position. If the pelvis is tipping back, you may need some extra height. Or you could always sit on the knees as well. If that bothers the knees, you can roll up something and place it behind that knee joint. In fact, that's probably something we should do one of these classes. It's quite therapeutic. So once you get to that tall seated position, we feel a little bit more alive through the lower back, maybe the hip joint a little bit. Let's get into the arms. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands down through the center body. Again, inhale. And one last time. And down through the center, thumbs pause at the heart, we bow. Maybe your own intentions for today's practice. Interlace the fingers in front of the heart. Exhale, press those palms out in front of you, round the back. Inhale, reach them up. 4 more times. Getting into the spine here, widening those shoulder blades and then using the muscles to draw them back onto the back strongly, waking up all those muscles around the shoulders and the upper back. Last time, reach all the way up and then release the fingers, draw them out to the sides in a Y. Let the shoulders fall down the back. Take 4 big deep breaths here, filling up the chest. See if you can increase the space between the shoulders and the ears. Each time you exhale, the shoulder blades fall deeper onto the back. As you inhale, they stay as far away from the ears as possible. We lift the heart. And one last time. Beautiful. Bring the arms behind you. Take hold of the forearms with the hands. Roll those shoulders back. And then we're going to bow forward over the legs. Feel that nice stretch from the hips up through the low back. And then the weight of the head draws you further down. Let the shoulders just drop here. Inhale, come all the way up. We're going to release the arms, switch the cross of the legs, switch the cross of the arms, and do this one more time. Breathe into your full abdomen, creating some compression and then flow, filling up and releasing. Come all the way up. So a little different today. We're going to reach that right leg out, draw the left heel in here, and already start in some seated poses. I know I told you it was going to be a little different. So let's get nice and tall here. And then turn the body towards that right leg and just go for an easy stretch over that right leg. We haven't done a lot yet, so we're not going to overdo. We're trying to get into the fascia a little bit, so we're not pulling ourselves forward. And now come all the way back up. Place your left hand by the left hip, and we're going to flow here. As we inhale, we reach up and over into a modified plank pose. My right foot is flat on the ground. Exhale, come down. Let's do 4 more of those. Inhale, sweep up, press the hips forward. Exhale, set those hips back down. Inhale, explore the range of motion of your shoulder joint here too. Beautiful. Each time getting more length through that right side, the right hip, the front of the right hip. 2 more. And last one. Hold it here. Press those hips forward. Beautiful. And then release all the way down. Now we're going to bend that right knee. So this is called deer pose. So the left foot is on the right thigh, and then they're both at 90-degree angles here. And so as we're going to flow here as well, we're going to take that right hand and draw a half circle around us, and then come back the other way and do the same thing with the left hand. So kind of carving out our boundaries here. And then getting a little bit of more movement through that torso now. A little bit of stretch through the hips. One more time, both sides. Beautiful. And then come back to center. Bring those legs back up, maybe give them a little shake. We're going to bring the left leg out to the side, the right foot towards the pelvis. Turn towards that left leg. Let that left thigh be heavy. Let that right thigh be your anchor. And then we take an easy passive fold over here. So it might feel a little bit different on this side. Feel the head and the neck release. And then come all the way up. Place that right hand by the right hip, and we press up onto that right knee as we press the left hip forward. Plant that left foot and come up back down 4 more times. Explore the range of motion of this left shoulder joint now. The elbow doesn't need to be straight. We can bend it at any point. Just finding the rotation. And then getting a little more length through that left hip as you stretch that left hip even further forward. 2 more. And on that last one, we'll hold it up there again. In that modified plank pose, reaching through the fingertips and out through the outer edge of that left foot. And then release back down. Come into deer pose on this side. So the right foot is into the left knee. Both knees are bent to 90 degrees. Notice if there's any difference here. And then we take that left arm and start to draw a half circle around us. It can come over our ear at the end. And as it comes back, we switch hands over to the right. Beautiful. So finding some flow through the spine, through the ribs, everything coming around, twisting from the core of the body, waking up the waist and the torso. We'll do one more time for each side. Beautiful. And come all the way back. All right, so we'll bring the knees back to center, give them a little bit of a shake, and we're ready to come over onto hands and knees. Hands are set under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's do 3 times cat-cow, and then we're going to bring some more movement into it. So cow, we let the heart drop down to the earth. Cat, we press the kidneys up to the sky. Inhale, open front body. Exhale, open back body. One more time in the center here. And then come back to center. This time, as we exhale, we're going to swing the hips over to the right and back and make a circle. Come over to the left and forward on the inhale. So 2 more like that in this direction. Finding some rolls. And then over in the other direction, swing them over to the left and back and forward. Embracing the cricks and the cracks. Watching those feelings, watching those thoughts, and knowing that they're all transient. Come back to center. Beautiful. And now shoulder flow. So you can walk the knees back a little bit and a little wider. As we exhale, hips come back towards the heels. As we inhale, draw the nose along your mat. Elbows up to the side, press back up, and exhale back. So we're still activating the spine, especially with that heart opener on the way up, and then that curl on the way back. But we're adding a little bit of awakening for the shoulders. One more time. And then come back into a child's pose. Knees apart, toes together. Rest the forehead on your fists, on your hands, on a prop, or all the way down onto the earth. Take some deep breaths here. And nourish. We're going to come forward onto hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Lift those knees up off the floor. Sit those hips back as far as you can. And inhale, come forward. If that doesn't work for you, you could stay here holding, drawing that belly button up to the sky. Or you could even do this motion coming back and forth on the knees, and if you need it more in the shoulders. Here we've got core, shoulders, and thighs working. Let's do it 3 more times. Exhale, rock it. And inhale, forward. And back. And forth. And back. And forth. Beautiful. This time, sit those hips back and then straighten the legs. Come into your first down dog and walk it out. Plant through the hands, every single finger, every single knuckle. Imagine a suction cup on the palm of your hand, and it's drawing up from the earth, up into the roots of your arms, up through the shoulders, sprouting out the back of the heart. And then slowly we start to make our way into a forward fold. Oh, we're standing almost. Plant all four corners of the feet into the earth. Let the body hang. Bend the knees as much as you need to so that that lower back doesn't feel overstrained. We don't want to be coming up from this forward fold and having to support that low back and it yelling at us, especially at the beginning of the practice. We listen to those cues. We challenge ourselves where needed, but we back off when something doesn't feel right, and you know. Slowly come all the way up to standing. Beautiful. How do you feel? Much different now. Let's stand in Tadasana, mountain pose for 2 breaths here. Feeling those feet feeding into the earth. Same kind of suction cups right at the arch of your foot there. All toes are grounded. All 4 corners of the feet are planted. And then a big, tall spine. Inhale next and reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. 2 more of those, nice and slow. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Last one. And fold down. Ardha Uttanasana, hands on shins or thighs, look up halfway. Lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, fold. 2 more like that. Just getting into that spine a little more strength now. Press the sit bones back behind you, heart open. And nourish yourself with the fold. Last one. And down. Fingertips on the earth. Step the left leg back behind you. Drop that left knee down to the earth. Beautiful. So either using the hands as support, or you can sweep them up with you. We're going to inhale, come all the way up into a low lunge. And then exhale, fold back down. So you could also press yourself up and fold back down. Make sure that front knee isn't coming over that front ankle. And next time you come all the way up, hold it there. Draw the legs towards each other slightly. Keep that right hip back and then bring that whole pelvis forward at the same rate. If your hands aren't up, you could try bringing them to your heart or reaching them up now for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Hands come down towards the earth. We step back into our first plank pose, drawing up through the lower abdomen, drawing the ribs down towards the pelvis, pressing back from the heels, reaching forward from the top of the head. Arms are strong pillars, heart is soft. And then drop the knees. We're going to slither down to the floor instead of our usual work on our triceps. Draw those hips back. And then just like we were doing in our shoulder flow, drag the nose along the floor, elbows out to the side, keep the hips high, high, high. See if you can go a little further, press those legs out behind you, and come down to the abdomen. Walk the elbows under the shoulders for a Sphinx pose. Oh, so much better. I know, sometimes we need a break from all of those strength yoga things, and a full moon's a nice day to do that. Let's let everything drop down into the earth. Feel that connection. And then slowly start to draw the heart forward and up. If there's any compression in any one area of the spine, walk those elbows further forward to decrease that angle between you and the floor. And then draw your elbows towards you as you traction your spine longer. The legs are solid on the floor. The shoulders are melting away from the ears and drawing onto the back body to expose that heart. And then come all the way down, out, hands under the shoulders, curl the toes under, press up and back, downward dog. Beautiful. In this down dog, we're going to take it into a bit of a calf stretch. So walk the feet together. Take the left toes on the back of that right ankle and draw it down. See if you can strengthen those arms and press the hips back even further. And then go to the other side. Take the toes on the back of the left heel. Stretch them down. Open up those sit bones behind you. Keep the core strong. And then release. Walk it out. We're going to lift that left leg up slowly. Heel to the sky. Exhale, bend the left knee like you're moving through honey. Start to draw that knee towards the nose. And then place the foot down wherever it lands. Then you can help it further forward if you need to. Come down on that right knee. We're going to, either with the arms floating up or supporting you, we inhale, come up into that low lunge, and exhale, hands down. Inhale up and down. One more time. And this time, either pressing yourself up or floating up again. We're going to hold this low lunge. Draw the left hip back, scissor the legs towards each other, and then move that entire apparatus forward as you bend the front knee. Maybe you choose hands supporting you, hands at the heart, or hands reaching up for 3. Plant into that front foot, 2. Bring that right hip forward, get that right hip flexor stretch. 1, release the shoulders away from the ears, and then hands come down. Come up off that back knee, and you can drag that back foot forward, you could step it forward, and then fold. Let's come into a chair pose, bending the knees nice and deep, hands at the heart. Check to make sure you can see your toes beyond your knees. Drop those sit bones behind you. Draw the rib cage in. Maybe you reach the arms out in front of you for balance and go deeper. And deeper. And deeper yet. And then come all the way up and fold forward. Beautiful. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fingertips on the ground. And we're going to step our right leg back and our left leg forward. That right heel is going to spin down towards the earth. I'm going to bring both hands to the inner edge of the left foot and stick the butt out behind you. So once you do that, you'll almost feel like you can get more weight in both feet. Especially concentrate on that back foot for right now, because that one's the one we tend to lose and forget about. So press into all 4 corners of the foot and imagine that activating the entire leg. You can already feel the stretch there. And then maybe you start to walk the hands out in front of you to an angle up to the upper right corner of your mat and release the head and down. Humble warrior. And now walk back in towards that front foot. Now we're going to have to scoop that left buttocks under us to come all the way up into a warrior two. So instead of keeping it out behind us, we're using some muscle action to draw it underneath us, to press that left knee towards the left, to continue to activate that back leg, and we stretch those wings out to the side. Look towards the left fingertips. Feel strong, feel tall. Use your breath to nourish you. Use the feet on the earth, drawing energy up from below to feed you. And now one exalted warrior, back hand down the back leg, reach up and over with that right arm. Look up. And then come all the way back, spin onto those back toes, come into your second plank. We're gonna either stay here or do the same thing in plank as we did with down dog. Take the right toes on that left heel and draw them back. Nice. And then draw that head forward. And then come back to center. Take the left toes on the right heel. Draw that heel back. Draw that head forward. Draw the ribs in, lower abdomen to the spine. And then back to center. Beautiful. All right, we're here. And then we drop the knees and we slither down again. Hips back, inhale, drag the nose along the floor and come to the abdomen. Elbows under the shoulders, arms parallel. Look down towards your belly button, ground the tops of the thighs, ground the pelvis, ground the tops of the feet. See if you can spread and wiggle the toes. And then again, inhale up, Sphinx pose. Keep drawing the heart forward and imagining more space being created between every vertebra here, instead of crunching or squishing them. If you want to go further, you can walk the hands out towards the sides, come into seal pose. We're still pulling our heart forward while we straighten our arms. Beautiful. Shoulders stay away from the ears. We still have length and mobility through the neck and width through the collarbones. Come all the way down and come into your downward facing dog. Amazing work. Walk it out a little. Right leg is going to slowly reach up into the air with the heel. And then as you exhale, like moving through molasses, right knee comes in towards your nose. And then once you've gotten as tucked as you can, right foot comes down to the earth, right wherever it comes to. And then you can help it forward to create a 90-degree angle with the floor. Back heel spins down. Both hands come to the inside edge of the right foot. And then we stick the butt out behind us and ground into all four corners of the feet. I even pick up my toes and spread them and place them back down with intention. Strengthen up that back leg, press that back hip back. Get a nice stretch and then maybe start to walk the fingertips towards the upper left corner of the mat. Humble warrior. Feel the strength of the warrior legs, the humility of the warrior heart. And then walk those hands back in towards that right foot. Scoop that right hip under you as you come all the way up into that warrior two. That right knee is pressing to the right. That right hip is coming under you. That back leg is staying strong and straight. Arms out like wings, gaze over that right fingertips, those right fingertips. Bend through that right knee. Connect to that strength, that expansion, the possibilities here. Back hand down the back leg. Reach up with the right arm over, exalted warrior. And then release the hands all the way down. Spin on those back toes. Step forward and fold. Beautiful. Bend the knees nice and deep. Second set of chair. This time either hand stay at the heart. They reach out in front of us, or they start to reach up. As long as you can keep those ribs in, those hips back, the weight in the heels, the toes alive, and a smile on your face. For 3, 2, and 1. All the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Beautiful. We're going to bring the fingertips to the earth, or maybe even if you need blocks or your cans or your books, I'll give you a moment to set those up. And we're just going to do a little bit more leg and hip work here. As we inhale, right leg's going to come up behind us, just like we did in downward dog, but this time it's going to probably come up to maybe a T, maybe further. Now, really even out those hips. Notice how we want to roll that right hip open, draw the toes towards the earth. And now we're going to come up onto those left toes. For 4, come down. For 3, for 2, for 1. Keep up there for 3, 2, 1. Come down on those left toes. Now 4 times we're gonna curtsy almost. So bending both knees, bringing the right leg behind the left, and then reaching it back up. 4, 3, just smooth and slow. We're just exploring the range of motion here, exploring the strength of those legs. Last one, reach it up. Maybe you can bow deeper over that left leg and then release the right foot down. In between, we're going to take a little squat, so you can either have something to catch you behind you or some blocks to hold you up here. Feet are going to come together though. We're going to bend the knees out to the side and almost sit down on the heels. So we could also have something to catch us behind us or something to lean on up here. Draw those knees out to the side, draw the heels together. Maybe you come for a balance with the hands at the heart. And then slowly press back up into that forward fold. Now, if after the forward fold you had any issues with the low back, it might mean again that you're having to curve too much because of the tightness of our hamstrings, having to curve too much to touch the earth or your props. So you might need to bring them even higher up. So wherever you are, we're going to do the left leg now. Left heel drags all the way up to the sky. Left toes stay pointed towards the earth so that both corners of the hips are pointed towards the earth. See if you can relax through the shoulders and the spine. Beautiful. Now keeping that leg up there, we're coming up onto those right toes for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up there for 3, 2, 1. Now drop the right heel, curtsy or pump. We are coming down and then we're inhaling, pressing up. Bend both knees and press. 2 more. Going smooth, going with the breath. Inhaling down, exhaling, pressing, and then maybe you take it a little further and release that left leg beside the right. Again, we're going to come into a squat to clear out that back. Feet together, bend the knees out towards the sides, and sit back. This time you may come to balancing, or you might clear a space in front of you and walk those hands forward as you press the hips back and curl here. Beautiful. Come back to the center. Draw those knees together and help yourself sit back onto the earth. Nice. So we're going to keep the knees bent here and let the knees fall apart. So almost the same position as we were in that squat there, to get into those inner thighs. If you feel like you're rolling off the sit bones, take the heels away from you a little bit until the sit bones feel like they're plugging into the earth. And now a little bit of active release here. We're going to press the thighs up against our elbows and then exhale, release. So 3 more of those. Inhale, give some resistance to those legs. Exhale down. Inhale and 2 more. Last one. Beautiful. Now, if you'd like to stay here, you can. If you'd like to draw the heart forward and fold, go for it. And come all the way up. So we're going to come into, I don't know what the official name is. I think it's like, we call it lazy pigeon, but it'll almost look like that deer pose we did, and somewhere between a deer pose and a pigeon, where we've got 90 degrees at the front leg, about 90 degrees at the back. This time they're a little further apart. And as if we were in pigeon, remember pigeon, that back leg is straight behind you, hips are squaring forward. This one, we're letting our hips open towards the right. Left leg's going to come bent first. And then we walk ourselves over that left leg. Maybe we've got something to lean on. Maybe we can make it all the way to the earth and release the head down. And just come to a comfortable angle for you. If you can't come too far enough down to support your head with something, you can use a prop for the head as well. So breathing here. And inhale all the way back up. And then we just windshield over to the other side, bringing any props you might need with you. We've got about a 90-degree angle on the right leg, a 90-degree angle on the left. And we find the angle at which our body wants to fold forward. So a tighter hip will probably be closer towards the thigh. And then slowly we can start to open up to coming towards the shin. That left hip is going to be up off the floor, that's okay. We're not concentrating on the back leg. And then you find your spot here. And then slowly make your way up. Don't worry, I didn't fall asleep. Almost. And then come back lengthwise on your mat. We're going to draw those legs out in front of you and tuck the thumbs right under the buttocks. Slowly come down on one elbow and then the other. And you can kind of adjust so that those elbows can come as close in towards each other as possible. The hips are grounded equally, the legs feel stretched out in front of you. And so at first you're looking down at your belly button. What we want to do is draw those shoulders behind us, and as if there's a string at the center of our heart, press into the forearms and let that heart lift. This is fish pose. You can keep the head looking down, or you could look up, or even back, or even start to lower the head down towards the mat. Keeping that string at the center of the heart, lifting you up, the shoulder blades hugging the back of your heart. And then tuck the chin in if it wasn't already, and slowly let yourself down onto the earth. Beautiful. If the lower back needs a little bit of settling, you can bend both knees and bring the feet mat width apart, knees falling in towards each other. You can stay here for a moment. We're going to come into a bridge pose here. So walking those heels in towards the sit bones, knees pointed up to the sky, bring the elbows close into the body, and really draw those shoulder blades behind the heart again. I like to bend my elbows into robot arms so that I can really activate that press into the backs of the shoulders and the backs of the arms, because I'm going to be using everything that's in contact with the floor. So the back of my head, the backs of my arms and shoulders, and my feet. And then everything else will lift up from the hips all the way up. I'm using muscle energy to keep those legs from splaying apart. I'm pressing down into all four corners of both feet. I'm lifting, lifting, lifting. Now, if you want to go further, you could always stretch the arms out along the mat and keep pressing into the backs of the arms. Maybe you interlace the fingers behind the body, and you could even roll deeper onto those shoulders, lifting the heart even further, keeping the head and neck neutral for 3, 2, 1. And then slowly let those hips sink back down. Take the knees and the hands like we did at the beginning and do a little rocking side to side. Reach the legs up towards the sky, and you can support the backs of the legs with the hands and let the pelvis settle. Press the feet up to the sky, spread the toes. If you'd like to do a nice forward fold here, you can start to walk the hands up the legs, but see if you can avoid really peeling that low back off the floor. Now, yes, my sacrum's been peeled off the floor, but I don't want to really overstretch in that low back. I'm going for more of a hamstring stretch here. So keep drawing those sit bones back down towards the earth energetically, using muscle energy. to get that hamstring stretch. You could even take hold of the toes if you can reach it. And now bend both knees and come into happy baby pose. So either taking the outer edges of the feet, the toes, the ankles or the shins. And again, see if you can energetically keep drawing those sit bones away from you so that the back grounds a little bit more. And then those knees are coming down towards the earth so we can really isolate the stretch around the hips, the hip joint. Maybe rock. Slowly release that. Bring the feet hip distance apart and just let those knees come side to side as deeply as you want. Come back to center, lift the hips up, draw them over to the left and let the knees fall to the right for a nice open twist. Maybe that left arm comes up overhead and you reach. I even use my right hand to tug at my left wrist in order to make myself even longer from hand all the way down through the waist into the hip, even down the leg. And then come back up to center, pick the hips up, shift them to the right and let the knees fall to the left this time. And then maybe that right hand comes up overhead and we give it a little tug with the left. And then return to center. If there's anything else that needs to move through your body, go for it. Otherwise, see if you can find a comfortable Shavasana position. May I recommend, if you're close to a wall, shimmying those hips right up into the wall and then letting the legs kick up so the reason I get my hips as close into the wall as possible at first is so that once my legs are up the wall, I can feel the wall supporting me right behind my hips as well. And then my entire leg is supported. I'm going to just let my feet do whatever they want. See if I can stack the legs right over the hip joints. And then do whatever I want with my arms here. For legs up the wall or Viparita Karani. This is very restorative. Great for the lymphatic system. And a nice way to end the practice. Otherwise, you can find any other Shavasana or even a meditative seat, whatever's calling to you. Close your eyes. And check in. We check in with our 5 layers again, or our koshas. Sensing the physical body. Acknowledging the emotional body. Noticing the thinking body. Knowing the spirit body. And then bathing in that larger body that expansive one that connects us all. We continue our conversations with ourselves. We nourish our relationships with ourselves, all layers. We start on the mat. And we remember these lessons for off the mat. Practice kindness with yourself. Practice compassion. Acknowledge all layers and nourish this relationship today and all days. Where in your life can you make time for self? I thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.